Scott Merill, CHS class of 67.
67, all right. The Tom Cuppet era.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost the beginning of it, wasn't it?
Well, Corky Miller was our coach here, I think, at the time. Tom was later.
Was he 69?
I don't know for sure. He was here in the early 70s. I know I substitute taught one year, and Tom was coaching then.
Yeah.
I think I actually worked for him one day, a sub for him one day.
Okay, let's talk about your time here at Chillicothe. You were a student, right?
Yes, sir.
What sort of things, I mean, you certainly went to ball games and that sort of thing.
Right.
So talk about your participation in high school.
Well, I was in marching band for 3 years. We had a 3-year high school back then, and I started with Mr. Boyd and finished with Mr. Wills, directors. Played the sousaphone, really enjoyed it, concert band. Other things, I was in, I don't know if they still have it, a club called Mathletes. I thought I was going to be a math major in college, so I took all the math classes, did science fair. I enjoyed my time here. We had these big baby boomer classes back then. You never really got to know everybody. But all in all, I had a good time here. I learned a lot. I had some excellent teachers. Mrs. Alexander taught us Shakespeare and sophomore English. I can still quote some Julius Caesar. It was a great place to go to school. I hope it still is.
Yeah. You would later become the scorekeeper on the scoreboard operator.
Yes, sir.
Your dad was scorekeeper for a long time for basketball, right?
He kept he was the official scorekeeper of the book. He did that forever. I don't know when he started, but he did that forever.
And did that get you involved?
Well, Dad was doing the basketball scorekeeping. Tom Cuppet had moved up to athletic director. He needed somebody to do the clock for the football games. He asked Dad if he would be interested, and Dad said sure, if he could have myself and my Uncle Larry Zahner work as spotters for him. And, you know, it does help to have extra people up there helping you. The refs are all over the place giving their signals, and the ball's all over the place. So, and you're concentrating on the control panel and the board and everything. It does help to have people up there helping you. So we spotted for Dad. Dad did the scoreboard. And eventually, his knees weren't as willing as the rest of him, so I kind of took over everything. Did all the high school stuff and the football, or the middle school football stuff. And then a few years later, Tom wanted somebody to help do the clock for basketball. And I said that I would be willing to start out doing the freshman boys. You know, I could work with Dad. Back then, I think we were still in the OCC, and the freshman games were separate. So I started that the first year. I don't remember exactly when it was. And then after that, the next year, I told him, well, I like to do the boys again, and I like to do the girls' games if I could. So I started doing the girls' games, and then eventually I kind of worked my way up to doing everything. So that's pretty much it.
Number of years, decades, you were a staple here at the Hatton Gym and at Hernstein Field.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, what else do they want to see here? Okay. Your favorite sports memory that you might have from Chillicothe, seeing all these games you did over the years?
Oh my, there's so many. There was one basketball game that stood out. We used to have the tournaments here. It was a girls' D2 district. It was Logan Elm and Fairfield Union. And I think Fairfield Union was ahead by 3 points. There's like 2 seconds left. The Logan Elm girl, she's standing just to the left of the center line. Girl throws it out to her. The girl turns and shoots it, and I have to hit the button to start the clock. You know, I'm about ready to faint, trying to make sure I get it right. She shoots it, swoosh. It went right straight through, clean shot, the buzzer sounds, tied it up. Logan Elm went on to win it. That was probably one of the things that stood out really well. There's been so many, the games we had the basketball with Humpty Hitchens, the 2008 championship team, a lot of good memories there. Football games, just so many. It's hard to pick one, but You know, our teams have had their ups and downs, but it's all been enjoyable, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. You left Chillicothe High School to start teaching, right?
Well, I started teaching in 1984. I had middle school social studies at Mount Logan. I was there for about 2 years, then I got moved to Smith for a year. I got laid off. I went back to the branch to get an elementary certificate. Then I was recalled. I taught 6th grade reading at Mount Logan. And then I got, well, non-renewed. I subbed for several years, and then I started full-time out at Zane Trace. I think it was 1997, and I retired from there in 2015. All the time I'm still doing the sports here at Chillicothe.
Any advice you have for Chillicothe students?
Pay attention to your teachers. Stay away from the videos crap. I've talked to so many kids that everything's YouTube now, instructions. You miss that interaction with your fellow students and your teacher. You know, the teachers, I hope, still care about their students and want them to be successful and happy and do well. That's how I always looked at it. Just do the best you can. Don't let anything get you down, and just be a cavalier.